Bill, you want to help us in the...
You bet.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good morning, everyone.
In the conference.
We got this on. Okay, good morning, everyone. It's March 30th, 2020, and welcome to the Board of County Commissioners. This is probably the skimpiest crowd we've ever had at a county commission meeting, but we have all the department heads, or most all of them, calling in kind of like a telecom or a phone conference. But anyway, we'll carry on with our business. One thing, I would like to pull an agenda item, C1, pull that from the agenda. Okay. What's first?
First item is item 3, consent agenda.
Before we get started, let me introduce our commissioners here. On my right is Commissioner Kevin Cook, representing District 2. Aaron Mays, Commissioner Aaron Mays, representing District 3, and he's joining us by phone here today.
Morning.
Consent agenda.
Yes.
I will move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I'll second.
All right. Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item 4, new business A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
This morning we have vouchers that total $993,966.79. The highlights out of the voucher report, the highest amount is our allocations. Those are to social groups. Those would be between the American Medical Response, the Grace Med, the Shawnee County Extension Council, Fair Association, Medical Society, Soil Conservation, the Stormont Vale Event Center. Those totaled $474,500. Then we have health insurance of $183,169.32. The coroner, $47,316.67. And then finally, under the Public Works is $52,925.46. I don't have any questions. We'll move for approval.
Second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I will move that we approve the correction orders.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item B, planning number 1, public hearing and consider approval of resolution number 2020-19 for a conditional use permit to allow a 40-foot tall monopole tower for wire telecommunications at 107 Southeast 77th Street.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Randy Anderson, Planning Director. The subject property is located just to the southeast of the Mars plant, just southwest of Forbes Field, due west of Heartland Park. So it's an area where additional communication capacity is necessary and a good thing to be provided. The applicant is asked for CUP approval to put a 40-foot tower up. He does have the clearance been granted by the FAA for the tower location and the tower height. We asked him to. We had several conditions on the approval that the Planning Commission made. One of those was the site plan be amended to show the additional right-of-way that the county engineer requested, and to correct some errors that were on the site plan. Those corrections were made. The site plan is good to go. The county engineer has recommended that's ready to be approved. So with all that said, the staff and the Planning Commission are both recommending approval of this CUP per the resolution that's been filed. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I would move to open the public hearing.
I will second that. Motion's been made to open this item up for public hearing. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Now for public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to speak on this item?
Hi, my name is Gary Buster. I'm with KGI Wireless. I am the applicant, and if anybody would have any questions for me, I am available to take those now.
I have a question. Maybe this is for Randy. What's the current zoning of this site?
It's light industrial on all four sides of the property and the property itself.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Nope.
Anyone else would like to speak on this subject? Okay. I would move for approval. Or do we need to close the public?
Motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second that. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Now I will make a motion to approve.
A second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Next item.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Gary.
Okay, item C has been pulled. Item D, facilities maintenance, number 1, consider approval of
Has
request
left the conference.
to advertise
Gary
and
Buster.
fill a maintenance technician
Has
position
left the conference.
at an hourly rate between $15.05 and $16.24 per hour.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Pearl, Facilities Maintenance Director. Probably just in the nick of time, the Health Department has a new maintenance supervisor, Don Bell, has accepted the position. Don was a maintenance tech here at the courthouse, and we need to fill that position so we can get back to fully staffed here at the courthouse. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have on this request.
Any questions?
I'll move for approval.
Second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item D2, consider approval of request to reject the bid for the modernization of the courthouse inmate elevator and rebid using the new electronic procedure.
Bill Pearl, Facilities Maintenance Director again. We got one response back that met the qualifications for the RFP of being 6 copies delivered to the Finance Department. We think that could be due to the COVID-19 outbreak that the others one of them tried to email it in, and but figure at this point probably be best to just go out, open it up to everybody again, and get rolling on it. Now, of course, would be a great time to start modernizing elevators. Nobody here to use it. So,
Any questions? I'll move and we approve.
okay.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item D3, consider authorization and execution of contract C-131-2020 with Sunny Construction for pavement, stair, railing, and lighting renovations to the main entrance of the courthouse at a cost of $222,849, with approximately $100,000 in funding from the 2015 deferred capital balance and the remaining funding from the created project fund.
Bill Kroll, Facilities Maintenance Director again. Sunny Construction was the low bidder that came back on this, and we approved going into contract negotiations with them about 6 weeks ago. And those negotiations are done. The contract, you have a copy of it before you. Probably the most important thing Sunny can do, and now it's probably not as important in the next 30 days if they get started, but they can keep the front entrance open for business while we complete the stair and railing renovations. So this will pretty much complete everything we wanted to do on the exterior of the building, gets our stairs level, gets a new finish on the stairs to make them a lot more slip resistant, new railings, fixing some of the sidewalk outside, making it more ADA compliant, as well as getting rid of some of the lips and settling issues and some of that sidewalk.
Questions?
What about the railings? This is gonna replace the railing there as well?
Replaces the railing coming down the middle, replaces the railings on the side, new exterior lights that light the stairs as you come up, and exterior lights around the courthouse that have not worked for quite some time. So will be lit back up for security reasons and have a good, safe way to come right up to the front of the courthouse.
The new treads on the steps, you said they're gonna be,
They're gonna sandblast those. We tested, we tried to heat them. They ended up trying to crack. We had the stairs that we took from the northwest entrance and used those as a test sample. They bead shot them. That didn't really work real well, but then sandblasting put a nice ripple effect back on those granite stairs to make them more skid resistant. And probably a good thing in the future is if we have to do this again another 20, 30 years, we can sandblast those in place and get some kind of a good grip back on them again.
these new railings will be more substantial than what we.
Yeah, there'll be large aluminum railings, very similar to what we have on the northwest side, similar to what's across the street at City Hall.
Everything meets the ADA standards.
Everything meets ADA standards.
Commissioner Mays, you have any questions?
Yeah, Bill, I see that it says this $100,000 of this is coming from the 2015 deferred capital balance.
Yes.
Is that the remainder of that balance in that account?
It pretty much eats it up, yeah. I think there's just a little over 100,000 in it. And then you guys gave us another 150,000 out of 2019 contingency to kind of meet what the estimates were coming in at on that south entrance. So we're still under that 250 number and don't anticipate, at least Cindy didn't anticipate any issues getting this work done at all or any major change orders, but there's a little padding in there if we had to have it.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
this is Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. What I would like to do is use the remainder of the funds in the 2015 COP balance, that approximate 100,000. I would like to use all of that first before we go into this project budget amount that was set aside from 19 funds. So that would use the remainder of those funds from the 2015.
That sounds like a good idea to clean that up. All right. Any other questions?
I'll move for approval.
I'll second. Motion's been made by.
Could you possibly make that specific as part of your what Ms. Greiner's request was?
I'll make a motion to approve the request contingent upon the outline that the first would use the entire balance of the 2015 deferred maintenance fund, and then once that has been exhausted, using the 2019 project funds.
Mm-hmm.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Next item.
Item E, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider approval of request to award the following bids for the purchase of chemicals for Parks and Recreation operations in 2020 with funding from the Department operating budget and Gulf Revenue Revolving Fund and execution of the agreements for same. A, contract C-132-2020 with Advanced Turf Solutions. B, contract C-133-2020 with Grass Pad. C, contract C-134-2020 with Helena Chemical Company. D, contract C-135-2020 with Reindeers. E, contract C-136-2020 with Van Diest. That's it.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jeremy Myers, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. In December of 2019, Parks and Recreation asked Commission's permission to solicit bids for supplies and equipment for operations. We requested bids from suppliers for fertilizer and chemicals for the golf, horticulture, and park maintenance operations. 5 vendors supplied bids, and we took the lowest, most responsive bidder for each item. We are asking permission to award these bids to the vendors listed in the memo. I'll stand for any questions you may have.
Any questions?
No.
I will move for approval.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Next item.
Item F, Public Works, number 1, consider approval of resolution number 2020-20 to authorize the Secretary of Transportation of the State of Kansas to act for the county to obtain benefits under the federal and state aid program, KDOT Agreement number 77-20.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. The next 3 items deal with this joint KDOT County project to improve the traffic signals on South Topeka Boulevard at Southwest 57th Street, Southwest University Boulevard, and Southwest Gary Ormsby Drive. We've talked about these improvements before. The project started out as a county-only project where we would improve the left turn signals on Topeka Boulevard only, and has morphed into a joint KDOT County project whereby all 3 locations will be fully replaced and updated. The first item deals with a resolution. As the clerk said, it gives the Kansas Department of Transportation the ability to act for the county, and it also allows the Kansas Department of Transportation to obtain federal highway safety funds on behalf of the county. Question?
Any questions?
Kurt, this is just replacing the lights at that intersection.
This is replacing the lights at all 3 intersections, whether it be Topeka Boulevard legs or the side road legs, again, at Southwest 57th, Southwest University Boulevard, and Southwest Gary Ormsby Drive.
I was asked by a constituent over the weekend about the possibility of putting in roundabouts along South Topeka Boulevard, as we have with other intersections. Are roundabouts feasible at this location or practical?
I don't believe they're practical at these locations, mainly because on the west side you have the railroad tracks. That means we would tend to have to push everything to the east, and I think it would require, especially at 57th Street, getting right away from the Kansas National Guard. That's where their entrance is at. Remember again that Topeka Boulevard is 2 lanes in each direction, and we struggle to get the 2-lane roundabouts to work properly. I think 1-lane roundabouts are ideal. So although I am totally supportive of using roundabouts whenever possible, they're safer and in the long run cheaper than signalized intersections at these locations. I don't believe they're feasible at this time. The cost to convert would be prohibitive.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Kurt, can you kind of speak to the effect that this is going to have on traffic? I mean, will there be any kind of lane closures or anything as a result of this project?
There may be temporary lane closures while we're putting up the traffic signals. Obviously, you wouldn't want to do any structural work over traffic, but I don't believe there are going to be any long-term closures. They'll be strictly short-term only.
And will any repairs be made to the intersections themselves at the time that these are done? No, there'll be no repairs to the pavement itself. The only work on the pavement itself will be striping to clearly delineate turn lanes, through lanes, etc. Okay, thank you.
Kurt, what's the timeline on this project?
KDOT is going to let this project for us in mid-September of this year. After that, it's really KDOT will establish the number of working days on this project. The county will be just kind of there to provide guidance or to communicate any concerns with KDOT. But KDOT's going to let this project, and they will have probably most of the control on the project until it is complete.
I may be confused. I thought we had already had a contract or had a bid for this project with Finney and Turnipseed. Am I,
You are correct, Bill. KDOT has allowed us to select the design consultant, and KDOT is allowing us to select the consultant who will perform the construction engineering activities. But other than that, this is really a KDOT show as far as letting it for a contractor.
I see, okay, this is just for the construction end of it then, okay.
Kurt, I have another question.
Sure.
You said mid-September. I know that in recent past there's been kind of a delay on the availability of traffic signals, and the mast arms and things are kind of hard to get. Are we confident that mid-September is going to happen?
Aaron, let's be clear here. The letting will take place in September, mid-September, on KDOT's monthly letting date. Once the project is let, you are correct. There may be a number, 15 to 20 week waiting period in order for the signals to be fabricated and delivered to the job site. But when I say it's going to be let in September, that means a contractor will be selected, and then from there, the contractor will be subject to any delays in delivery for the signal pole fabrication.
Okay, I understand. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item F2, consider authorization and execution of contract C-137-2020, agreement number 77-20 with Secretary of Transportation, Kansas Department of Transportation, specifying the terms, conditions, and financial responsibilities of parties for the upgrade of traffic signals systems along South Topeka Boulevard at the intersections of Southwest 57th Street, University Boulevard, and Gary Ormsby Drive.
Any questions? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item F3, consider approval of a project budget of $944,444.44 for the traffic signal system upgrade on South Topeka Boulevard intersecting Southwest 57th Street, University Boulevard, and Gary Ormsby Drive with KDOT, utilizing the Federal Highway Safety Improvement Program to pay for 90% of the total actual cost not to exceed $850,000, and Shawnee County funding 10% of the project costs up to $944,444.44, which would be $94,444.44, and 100% of the project costs above $944,444.44. I liked all those fours. Thank you very much, Tom Flanagan.
I did have a question, Kurt. In this budget, do they cover utility relocations, or is that on us?
Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. Utility relocations and right-of-way issues are 100% on the county, but we do not anticipate any of those costs for this project. We're basically re-putting or rebuilding, replacing the poles in place with significant technological improvements. We see no need for any additional right-of-way, and there should be no utility conflicts.
Thank you. I will. Any other questions? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item F4, consider authorization and execution of contract C-138-2020 with Enterprise Fleet Management for the lease of 3 2020 Jeep Cherokees Jeep Cherokees at a cost of $8,605.38 for 2020, with funding from the operating budget and approval to surplus 7 vehicles through Enterprise Fleet Management, with the net proceeds used to offset the new lease.
Courtney House, Director of Public Works. Public Works is requesting that we update and improve our small fleet of administrative vehicles through the lease of 3 Jeep Cherokees. The Jeep Cherokees were selected because they have good ground clearance. They also have a 4x4 option that can be switched on and off. I think these vehicles will be well suited for the individuals that use them if they have to go on a project work site where the ground conditions would not be suitable for a normal passenger vehicle. So this is an opportunity for us to get new vehicles that are safer, more capable, and we can get rid of some vehicles that we've probably kept too long. Humans have the kind of the knack of holding on to things, especially here at Public Works, where we feel we need backups in case our regular vehicles are non-operational. With this lease agreement where we have newer vehicles on hand, there should be no need for backup vehicles. I take your questions.
Questions?
I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item F5, consider approval of request to terminate a lease for our 2 4x4 F-150 pickups and authorization and execution of contract C-139-2020 with Enterprise Fleet Management for replacement of these pickups with the lease of 2 1-ton F-350 4x4 regular cab flatbed trucks, with each increasing the monthly rent fee of $135.70, with funding from the Noxious Weed Capital Outlay Fund, and approval to apply any equity from the sale of the F-150s to the new lease.
Courtney House, Director of Public Works. The weed department presently has 4 full-size pickups that they use they're predominantly used to spray for noxious weeds on county or township right-of-way. Back in late 2019, 2 F-150s were leased. They had the heavy-duty payload package, but nevertheless, they're not capable of hauling basically 360 gallons of chemical, spraying equipment, having possibly 2 people in a cab, and then in addition, hauling or pulling a small trailer. So the request here is to replace those 2 F-150s with 2 F-350s. Again, all of these trucks are 4x4. The F-350s would not have a pickup bed. They would have a flat bed, which would be more suitable and safer for the employees and more suitable for what they're hauling. And that would allow them to safely haul a full load of chemical, which would reduce the number of return trips to the county weed department. I look forward to taking your questions.
Are there any questions?
Have any?
I will move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Kurt.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item G, Commission Number 1, consider canceling the April 2nd Commission meeting.
I'd like to practice what we preach here and have a little more social distance between us and reduce our risk here. So I would like to make a motion to cancel the April 2nd Commission meeting.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item 5, Administrative Communication.
All right, at this time, we'll allow department heads or public to make any comments that they'd like to make at this time.
Good morning, Commissioners. Linda Oakes from the Health Department. I'm going to ask Susie to pull up the dashboard that we have created for the COVID-19 response. While she's doing that, a couple of things. We are ceasing all immunization services now at the Health Department except for rabies if someone has had a bite or an exposure. So they just need to call the Health Department and we will get them taken care of. Some people, so as you can see, I don't know if the dashboard is up because the picture is delayed, but as you can see, we had quite a few new cases over the weekend. We have 14 confirmed cases, and so our nurses are now doing the disease investigation, the contact investigation for these cases. So people are getting phone calls on Saturday night from someone who says, hey, I'm so-and-so and I'm a nurse at the health department, and understandably, some of the public members are thinking this could be a hoax or this could be not true. So if you get a call from someone who claims to be a nurse from the health department, please get their name and call us at either the 251-4848 number or email us at covid19info@snco.us. That's covid19info@snco.us. Tell us the name and we will confirm that that is indeed a nurse from the health department. And lastly, I just want to encourage everyone to stay home. I know there's a lot of confusion with a new order from the state, and it's a little different than ours, but just remember, just stay home. That's the best thing you can do except for essential trips. Thank you.
Linda?
Yes.
I know there was a shortage of blood at one point. Are people still allowed to donate blood at this time?
Yes, sir, they are still allowed to donate blood. I would encourage them to call the blood bank so they can make an appointment and get that spacing correct so we don't have exposures.
Linda?
Yes.
There's been, I think, a misunderstanding with a lot of folks about the conflicting information from our order to the states. And could you just kind of speak to, what people need to be doing right now?
I know there is some confusion, and my best advice is to do what Dr. Pizzino said on Friday. Ask yourself, is this essential? And if it's not, then stay home. Now, I think it gets a little gray when it comes to things like, should I take a walk? And my answer is yes, take a walk. Do I need groceries? So yes, go get your groceries, go get your medicines, but try to minimize your contact with other people outside your household. I know there'll be more clarifications on the order. I know the state is working on clarifications. So I apologize for all the confusion, but at the end of the day, just stay home.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
Commissioners, this is Becky Neosi, Shawnee County Register of Deeds. I just wanted to let everyone know and the public to know that we are continuing to record our documents. We have been closed to the public for a week now, but everything's moving smoothly. We prefer electronic recording. That's the fastest way and, of course, safest way for us and for everyone. We are still processing mail. But if you can electronic record, that would be best. Go through a title company. If you are an attorney's office, you can get signed up with the electronic recording. And if you do have an emergency document, like a transfer on death deed that needs to get recorded quickly, I would, again, contact the title company. They can expedite that quickly. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Sutton, Director of Solid Waste. We are canceling our Saturday collection event this Saturday, April 4th. So we will not be accepting any household hazardous waste on this Saturday. And we apologize for any inconvenience this causes. And our next scheduled Saturday event will be May 2nd. Thank you, Commissioners.
Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. Effective today, the weed department is stopping all chemical sales to the public. We will reevaluate in 2 weeks, and so at this time, the weed department is closed to the public.
Anyone else?
Good morning, Commissioners. Larry Maw, Shawnee County Treasurer. We are still working at the motor vehicle office. We're taking mail, phone calls, and working the web tags. Just a heads up, I have not received any guidance on the personal property and real estate taxes for the second half. So barring any change, we will be issuing the second half notices during the second week of April. Any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
I have a question, Larry.
Yes.
So on those second half notices, I mean, is there statutorily, do they have to be due by a certain date? Or is this something where, perhaps we need to look into delaying those, giving people a little bit longer to get them in?
Well, that's a great question. By statute, the second half is due on May the 10th. The last I had heard, the governor had taken the position that she did not have the authority to extend that. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. It would seem as if it would come out of the legislature. I'm not sure, and maybe the counselor can answer this question, whether the commission has any authority to extend that date.
Good morning, this is Jim Krause, Shawnee County Counselor. Yes, you are correct, Larry. Those deadlines are set by state statute, and at the local level, we do not have the authority to extend those deadlines. It is my understanding that representatives of the Kansas Association of Counties have forwarded this question regarding delaying property taxes, along with other questions regarding driver's license renewals, vehicle registration renewals, and I have heard the same thing that you stated, Larry, which is the governor feels like she also does not have authority to extend those deadlines. Only the Kansas legislature would have that authority. That's sort of the consensus that's out there right now. So we do not anticipate at this time an extension of those deadlines.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Commissioner Mays, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, although I will say it's a lot different being on the phone for one of these meetings than it is in person. So looking forward to being back.
We're looking forward to having you back here. It seems strange not having everybody up here. Commissioner Cook.
It's good to be out of self-isolation and back into the real world, although we're in that safer at home version.
While a lot of you are home, it'd be a good time to fill out your census. It's important information. The 2020 census, I don't know when it's due, but it's coming up here shortly, so make sure you get that filled in and sent back in. That's important information. It helps us getting grants and government funding, and it also can even determine how many representatives we have from our state. So it's important information. Just want to say a few things about the virus. This is a problem that's probably not going to be solved by the state or federal government. It's going to be largely up to the general population. It's up to you to stop this, and you do that by just some simple steps. Of course, you practice social distancing, avoid social gathering. By all means, avoid going to retirement housing. And be sure to call before you go to, if you think you have the virus, call before going in. So you're not exposing doctors or other people that work in the medical field. But call first. And, I know a lot of you see what's going on in New York. And, what happens in New York doesn't necessarily happen in the rest of the world. I think each situation is local and it's conditional. So we're all a little bit different, but remember to follow the recommendations from the emergency preparedness and from the state, and just use some common sense through all this. But to finish up, I'm going to let Dusty Nichols make a few comments from emergency preparedness about the virus. Do you have?
Good morning, Commissioners and
Yes.
everyone. Dusty Nichols, Shawnee County Emergency Management. Commissioner Rippon hit on a couple things I wanted to say. I just wanted to remind everybody that here locally, across the state actually, we are required to follow the governor's orders and her stay-at-home orders. But we hope you choose to follow the guidance that Shawnee County put out at our safer-at-home order. That said, if you have any questions, please don't call dispatch. They're inundated with normal day-to-day calls. If you have any calls or questions regarding Shawnee County's response to COVID-19, we do have a phone bank to answer your questions, to clarify the orders, businesses. That number is 251-4848, or you can email us at covid19info@snco.us. That is covid19info@snco.us, or 251-4848. We stand by ready to help you as always. Thank you.
Thank you, Dusty. What's next?
Item 6, executive session.
We have no need for executive session, so we are adjourned. Thank you.
Susie?
Angela Lewis has left the conference.
Randy Anderson.
Has left.
Kill 'em.
Get a hold of Commissioner